Rabotai, good morning.
Good morning, Rabbi John. Mazal Tov, Rabbi John.
Mazal Tov. The nasz psa.
Bar Mitzvah, Shavuot, Molachat.
Rabotai, we are beginning a new halakha in Simon Nun Aleph in Halacha Hey. We're going to start seeing a very, I don't want to say complicated halakha, but a very important halakha, and we're going to have to say a lot more details into this halakha B'ezrat Hashem in the coming classes. The Shulchan Aruch states in Simon Nun Aleph in Halacha Hey, Ben HaMizmorim. Okay, let me just give you an introduction. There's such a thing that's called Ben HaMizmorim, between the paragraphs, when you finish one paragraph and before you begin another paragraph. And then you also have Be'emta Mizmor, which is in the middle of the paragraph itself. Says the Shulchan Aruch, Ben HaMizmorim, if you are between the paragraphs, Ha'elu, we're going to start seeing what they are B'ezrat Hashem. Sho'el Mipunei HaKavod. If you are in between the paragraphs, you are allowed to answer, you are allowed to ask about the welfare of a person who is an honorable person. Umushiv shalom l'chol adam, and you are allowed to respond shalom, hello, to any person that asks you hello. Let's say, for example, Rabotai, you are in between one halaluka and the next halaluka, and your father came up to you, and your father said to you, hello. Are you allowed to respond back to him? Rabotai, we're going to see many more details, but according to the Shulchan Aruch, there's such a thing that's called Mipnei HaKavod U'Mushiv Shalom L'Chol Adam, which means to say that if my father comes to me in the middle of the Pesukei de Zimra, in the middle of the Halalukas, and I see him walk in, I'm allowed to ask him, how are you doing? Meaning, I'm allowed to ask him about his well-being, even in the middle of Pesukei de Zimra. However, let's say a regular person came to me and told me hello, I'm allowed to answer him back and tell him, I'm fine, and yourself, how are you? So basically, Rabotai, we're going to have to see this halachot. We're going to have to see what's considered to be Ben HaMizmorim versus Be'emta. So now the Shulchan Aruch says that if you are in between the paragraphs, you are allowed to ask about the welfare of an honorable person, and you are allowed to reply shalom to any person that asks you about your well-being. However, Ube'emta, what happens if you are in the middle of the Mizmor, you're in the middle of the Psalm? Over there it's a little bit different. Sho'el Mipunei HaYirah, you could only ask about the welfare of a person that you are afraid of. We'll see this B'ezrat Hashem. U'Mishiv Mipunei HaKavod, and you could only answer over there because of a person who is honorable. Means that let's say you're afraid somebody's going to harm you or something, and you're in the middle of one haluk in the paragraph itself, and he asks you, how are you? You're allowed to, Rabotai, ask this person, how are you? Meaning, you can respond and you can ask him about his well-being because we don't want him to hurt you. What about Mipnei HaKavod? Let's say your rabbi or even your father, because he's also honorable. Even if you're in the middle of the Pesukei de Zimra, in the middle of the Psalm, you would be allowed to go ahead and respond back to your father, I'm fine, or your Rebbe, if he asks you, how are you doing? You're going to be allowed to go ahead and respond. B'ezrat Hashem, Rabotai, there are many, many more halachot to this, but this is just the beginning of the halakha. We are moving on in the Sefer of Olam Mikshol in the Sefer. We're going to speak about today, as a small introduction, I don't know how many people know this, but there's such a thing that's called sifting. When your wife makes flour, or when she makes dough in the house, before you can even make dough, you have to sift the flour. I don't know how many people actually do this today. You have to sift the flour. Why do you have to sift the flour? Sifter? You take the flour mukah and you put it into a sifter, and then you shake it and make sure that all the flour comes down. What are we looking for? We are afraid of tola'im. We are afraid of worms. So Rabotai, you should know that somebody told me when this halakha was taught many years ago. His wife says, Rabbi, come on, do you think I'm going to have worms in my flour? I said, look, the halakha says to sift, you have to sift. Every single bakery has a sifter. Right? We're going to see also that they have to do hafrashat challah. They have to separate a piece of dough. But the point being is, this person told me when he one time, remember, Rabotai, you go You go buy flour from a store. How many months is it in that store? What do you think? They give you brand new flour? No, not how many months. Rabotai, remember the flour that they give was already prepared way before a few months earlier. So Rabotai, it depends on the heating and how cool it is. But he told me when he started doing the sifting, Artur, umatasham tolaim. You do find over there worms. You do find. So therefore you have to sift. Even though the companies already sift for us, but still when it's in our closets themselves, they form within the...
I don't think the big bakeries do it.
They don't sift? Chas v'shalom.
I'm telling you.
Ah, yes.
It's too much to like,
You have to do it.
Libyashki, you know how
He's
much they
in
give?
the industry.
Thousands. It's Uzbeki doing it.
No, but
All they
you
do is
must
just take a piece
sift.
of
You
it.
have to sift.
I don't think they do it. All they
There-
do is just take a
there
little
is-
bit, they say the bracha.
There is a suffix fake that if you didn't do it, we're going to rely on the company. We're going to rely that the worms are grounded after
Rabbi, they don't
grinding.
have time for this.
Yeah, it's a
You're
problem.
talking about thousands of thousands
I mean,
of
that
them
would-
every day. You know how much dough they need? It's a 300 bag mixer.
But it's not like you think you and me. I'm going to sit here. I personally have a machine of sifting. You put it inside. You put on press the button, and it just.
They don't
They have to have a bigger machine. You can't have the small machine. Of course, you're not going to be
They
able to do
don't have this machine.
it. No, I can't.
Sell it to
We gotta find out.
אין כזה מכונה בכלל.
Ma, yes.
They don't even
Yeah,
sell
sifters have it.
machines like that.
You try it. Here, there you go. A good idea for you. Sell these sifters to them. Now, Rabotai, very important. Why am I saying this? When a person, especially we're going to see over here, that if you end up being in a person's house that's not religious, and you know a lot of them, Baruch Hashem, they like to make sourdough, which is very good, Rabotai, very healthy for your gut. Every other bread, Rabotai, will kill you. Well, not necessarily, but it's not the same. It makes you bloated. You can't function afterwards. But they make sourdough or they make other breads. Now, a lot of people, when they come to their houses, they're not going to want to eat it. Why they're not going to want to eat it, Artur? Because they're afraid maybe they didn't sift it, like he said right now. Again, there's a lot of doubts to allow you to eat the bread after the fact. But ideally, we want you to go ahead and we want you to check the flour. Do you guys know that even for fruits, all of these things before you eat it, you have to check it? You have a lot of times people, they take these dates, these dried dates, correct? Or they eat the raisins, or they eat figs, thank you. Or they have these, I went to a store, I'm not going to mention the name. I went to a store, listen how Hashem loves me, I'm telling you. I bought those honey roasted almonds. Fresh! Well, my age, fresh. What could be already be fresh? Everything fresh, Rabotai. So as I was driving, I say ha'etz, whatever I eat, that there's a whole inyan you should check. You should really see it, but how am I going to see while I'm driving? So Rabotai, after eating a few of them, I put one in my mouth, and I felt something wet. Like something's wet by my mouth. Like, why is it wet? I go like this, I see literally it's a small worm.
Oh my God.
It's a small worm. You have it. Things are infested, Rabotai. I don't think everything is perfect. I'm telling you it's infested. There's a reason why they have over there cats running around to protect them from the mice. And how many more chasam, so who knows? I don't want to say it. Cockroaches, okay. Rabotai, you guys think everything is perfect, that's it. No, Rabotai.
What about cockroaches?
Your kitchen is not their kitchen, understand
The
that?
size of cats.
Huh?
The best breads ever. They got rats the size of cats.
Anna,
And we're eating the bread over there.
Anna,
I
Gabi.
don't know how the hell
Yeah,
department
man. You
keep
come
them
give
open.
the class.
They still get an A lower.
Let's look at it. A. Okay, now,
That's it.
that's point number one. We have to make sure that we sift the flour. Point number two, very big problem. A lot of women, unfortunately, do not know what's a chafrashat challah. What does it mean to separate the dough? That piece is called the challah. Not like you see today, Artur, when you go to a store, you buy, for Shabbat, what do you buy? Artur, תדבר. V'task, Challah. We call it challah. It's not called, it's bread. Why is it challah? You know what's challah? Challah is the piece that you take out from the dough. That's the challah. When you say the blessing and the havrashat challah, that's the challah, not the bread is the challah. But today everything's upside down. Doesn't matter. Now, Rabotai, how does it work? How does this havrashat halal business work? Let's say your mother, let's say your wife. If she uses 1,560 grams of flour, not water, nothing else, only flour alone. Gabi, this also they have to measure, Gabi. You want something to do Chavrashat Challah now also these bakeries? I'm about to smack some, huh?
You gotta wait, yeah.
No, they have to wait. They wait. I hope they wait.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Ma'asim
I
Milan.
just told you.
Just go to the shul.
They got rats the size of cats going into the door. Who checks this? Uzbeki. Come on. The owner is hardly even...
No, you have to have, no. It's,
The owner is hardly even...
I'm not worried about this because I eat my wife's bread. My wife makes sourdough. I eat my... Ilan Gamken also can. Aram Gamken also.
I don't bring bread. My wife brings sour bread and challah every Shabbat she does it.
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem.
Sorry.
Baruch Hashem.
Nothing
Eshet Chayil.
like the rest.
None. Right. Rabotai, if you go ahead and you take a scale and you measure 1,560 grams of flour alone, on that flour, after you mix it with your dough, whatever you want to mix it with, then you're going to say the bracha, and then you're going to remove a small piece of challah. Artur, ata iti or lo iti? L'famim. Okay. Now, however, Rabotai, if it's less than 1,560 grams, but it's over 1,200 grams, we're going to tell you minat chasidut to remove the dough, but without a bracha. It's always good to remove the dough. Now, why am I saying this? Why did I have to give this introduction? A lot of people don't do this. They don't do the Rabotai. They don't sift. They don't do havrasat challah. So now you ended up you come to a balabai's house, you come to somebody's house, or you go to, like you just said, a restaurant, or all these things, that they don't want to do it. So Rabotai, there's going to be leniency.
They don't have time to do it.
They don't have time to do it. I see what you're saying. They don't have time. They better start doing it. זה נכון? אין להם זמן?
ההלכה באמריקה שאף מסעדה, אף פיצריה, אף אחד לא עושה ספיישל.
באמת? למה עושים?
לא צריך באמריקה, בארץ ישראל.
כן?
לא מוחזק תולעים מאמריקה.
באמת?
בארץ ישראל הקמח מגיע מאוד מאוד ישן, הוא מגיע עם תולעים. באמריקה לא עושים ספיישל.
אני אומר בשם שלך, יצחק. בוא תבוא כמה יצחק תגיד. בוא תבוא, יצחק. אנשים צריכים לדעת, בלצחוק.
אין אף מסעדה, אין אף. החופשת חלק כולם עושים זה כן.
אוקיי.
אבל לשים את הפלאבר, אף לא עושים.
בוא יצחק, תן לי, אני עושה עכשיו את המשגיח. בוא, יצחק. אילן, תבוא איתו כאן, אילן. אילן, תביא אותו כאן.
The owner and the משגיח of Isaac's Deli, תקרא אותו.
תקראו, מה הוא עושה עכשיו?
לך לוידאו, בוא, תגיד כמה מילים.
כן, אני מסביר לו עכשיו. יצחק.
יצחק.
בוא, יש לך דיבור איתך פה, בוא לפה. בוא לפה, עזוב את הביצים. יש פה אנשים.
רבותיי, we have over here a משגיח מוטס. תן לו תבוא כאן, אני לא יכול לדבר ככה.
טוב, זה הולך לכל העולם.
ביצים בישראל.
בוא, תתקרב שהוא ידבר איתך.
רבותיי, he's a very, very well reliable משגיח. Actually, one of the top. Whenever we make parties, we always invite him because he has to be there, Rabotai. He knows a lot of what goes on in the restaurant industry. So he just told me right now. He says in Israel they're gonna always sift their flour because their flour it's very very old. So they have worms in the flour, so they're gonna sift it. In America, he says not one place, like you want to say, Gabi, not one place sifts it. I guess because it's fresh flour. But when it comes to the Chavrashat Challah, all the restaurants have to do it. He says they all do it. So Rabotai, why do we have to know this? He says, if you have a balabait, you go to somebody's house and they bring before you bread, pita, or anything similar to that. Now the guest doesn't know. You don't know if this bread has a hechsher or not. You're allowed to eat them. You don't have to be afraid of worms. Says the Sefer Lama Mishol, very important point. Especially if you have a Baal Teshuvah, a person who did Teshuvah in his life, and now he's a guest in his parents' house. Yesh lolin hokin, he should also behave like that, Rabotai. He should eat the bread. Kidei shaloliv go behorav, very important, in order not to offend his parents. Rabotai, one of the biggest issues that we have today when you have children, Baruch Hashem, I'm not telling you not to go to yeshiva. I'm not telling you not to become a Talmid Chacham or go in the ways of Hashem. But when we become religious, we make our parents' lives miserable. מה זה לא כמחשן? אני לא אוכל. כמחשן משהו אחר. רגע. זה לא חלב ישראל, אני לא אוכל. זה לא בית ישראל, אני לא אוכל. אתה מחלל את השבת, אני לא אוכל אצלך. רבותיי, I'm not telling you that it's right. I'm not saying that it's right. But what I am saying is, don't offend your parents just because you want to be religious. That you should not do. You have a problem with the milk, chalav yisrael milk, go buy yourself chalav yisrael. You have a problem with the bread, go buy yourself kamich yashan. Rabotai, little by little, you want to be able to show your parents what means derech eretz in life. I'm not eating, not this. So go buy it, bring it, that's it. My mother didn't dip the kelim in the mikvah, I'm not eating.
And they say it on
Okay,
the
go, take her utensils, go mikvah it.
Rabbi, they say it on the table and you have to stop them. זה משפילים את ההורים.
חס ושלום, זה אסור, רבותיי, you're not, you...
בשולחן
רבותיי, I want
אבו את אמא.
Rabotai, I want to tell you something. Guys, I can't say the name. I'm going to tell you something. Rabotai, there was a certain person. I can't say the name. They were killing the guy. They were killing his business away. He had a restaurant, whatever it was. Not a lot of things were 100%. Rabotai, they went to one rabbi. Ashkenazi rabbi. I could say, I forgot his name. Mazen Rav Shal Mikvah by Malkil. Rabbi Savitsky. Rabotai, listen to this. His name I could say, I'm not worried. You know what he said? It is better, I'm not telling people should do chas v'shalom, but it is better to eat treifot v'nevilot than to chas v'shalom ever embarrass another Jew. That, Rabotai, we don't understand what it means to kill another Jew. We think we said something and Shabbat Shalom and we forget about it. But I'm eating kosher. But you're not speaking kosher. What are you eating kosher? Who are you eating kosher for? For becoming a better person? Rabotai, it's a very big problem. You have a problem, fix it. But don't embarrass your parents. That's what he says when you have a Baal Teshuva, he's a guest in his parents' house. Rabotai, he has to be professional.
They keep in Shabbat,
You know,
they go to mikvah. But on the table, they yell at their parents.
Chas v'shalom, Rabotai, chas v'shalom. This is exactly the problem. There's a lot of Torah, they're following the Torah, but there's no derech eretz. Unfortunately, there's no derech eretz.
And if you tell them that, they say your rabbi is too much.
Rabotai, there's a great rabbi, he says a lot of children, they come home for Ben Azmanim, from yeshiva, correct? They come home. Mahem osim ita ilan, they take the Gemara and they start learning Torah. So you know what the Rosh Hashiva said? He said, tell me, do you think your mother understands what Elim Mitziyut is? You think she understands what you're learning? She understands when you're going to help her in the house. But now when she needs help, you decide to go learn Torah. Rabotai, you have to show your parents what Torah is really about. It's not about Chas v'shalom, Rabotai, making people's life difficult. You don't want to be said there. Bring it yourself, eat it yourself, things like that, Rabotai.
Lead by example.
However, he says, okay, you don't know if your mother did chafrashat challah or not, whatever it might be, don't make a problem, Rabotai. Take one crumb of brain or take one piece of bread, and discard it, finish. It just have kavanah that it's the separation of the dough on the bread and finish, and then you could go ahead and eat the bread. Rabotai, when it comes to this halakha, when it comes to offending people, I'm telling you the emes, Rabotai, you don't understand. I was driving with my wife the other day from what happened, the whole incident, what happened in the last week. I'm not going to get into all the details. I don't want to make it more than it is. I told my wife, Rabotai, you have today a lot of religious people that Ilan, ein lehem chelek l'olam HaBa. And I'll tell you why. Do you know why? All of a sudden, somehow, I'll tell you why. A lot of people somehow they decide to comment on things, thinking that they're the next rabbi already. Do you have any idea what that is? How do you comment on somebody's life? How do you comment and leave your review on something? You're not afraid. This is forever. People see it. Rabotai, you can kill a person physically, like Hitler did, Yimach Shemo, or you could kill a person spiritually. What's happening in our generation with all this stupidity? What's worse, Ilan? If you kill a person physically, he's going to have the world to come. His neshama is not tainted. But if you kill a person spiritually, like we do today, speaking down on people, Rabotai, commenting, אני לא רוצה להגיד,
למה? לא.
כי זה בעיה גדולה. Rabotai, we have to be careful. Never ever, listen to me very carefully. If you didn't learn the halachot of Lashon Hara 101 times, do not comment on anything. I'm telling you, do not, that thing is going to hold you back in Shamayim. There's no way, Rabotai, you're going to be able to enter into Olam HaBa with the way you went ahead and you embarrassed another Jew in this world. Do not think it's so simple. It's not, Rabotai. And I'm going to say this, Ilan, especially women, Rabotai, like you just said, Gabi. A woman covers her hair, she's senior, she says Tehillim 24/7. I don't care. See how you're speaking. See how you're embarrassing another Jew, especially your husband. Be careful, Rabotai. People show me, Rabotai, they send me things that people say on certain platforms. Come on. Rabotai, use your seichel. Never ever get involved. Look at our great rabbis. When they spoke, they were afraid to say an extra word. Somehow today, Usher, we're not afraid. The woman became the rabbis, the man became the rebbetzins, and somehow everything's okay. Rabotai, it's a very big problem. It's a very big problem. You don't like something, try to fix it quietly, privately, personally, without ever chas v'shalom offending another Jew. It is very, very important to never embarrass another Jew, Rabotai. This is very serious. And that's why we see over here, Rabotai. You have about Teshuvah, be very careful with the feelings of your parents. Yitzchak, do you know how many years our parents didn't keep Shabbat because of us? You think they wanted to work on Shabbat? They did it only so we can become religious. What do you think? If they wanted, they would have said, also I'm like you and me and sleep all day. But Rabotai, they sacrificed their life. And today we have it all. What do we say to our parents? What do you guys know? No, Rabotai. Just because you became religious, understand them, help them. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen. Amen. Rabbi Chanan ben Akash Shomer Tzaddik Baruch Hu lezakot Israel lefichach yirba lahem Torah.